Trump supporter has a standoff with police. He was tweeting during the standoff. Really?
And I've been segregated against for my beliefs. Now they're trying to arrest me simply because I do not believe in gay rights and abortion, which is...
Really? They're trying to arrest you because you don't believe in gay rights and abortion? That's why? One of the tweets that he sent during the standoff was years of transgenders harassing me and abortion being essentially a sacrament in my state. I have to stand my ground and fight for my religion here. Christ is Lord. I am sorry. That's what he tweeted during the standoff. But leading up to the standoff and a little bit in the middle of the standoff were some other tweets. Just look at some of the tweets from the guy. Had to do this. It was them or me. Sorry for my family and God bless. I want to watch this video on his Twitter account in a second, but notice why he's doing this. Years of transgenders harassing me and abortion being essentially a sacrament in my state. No, abortion is not a sacrament in your state. When he says sacrament, what he means is he believes that Satanists are using abortion for satanic rituals, for a blood sacrifice, and that 90% of abortions are satanic sacrifices. And when you scroll through here, we're going to look in more depth, but when you scroll through, you find him say, "This is why I must fight for the ones who never got a chance. They tried to take my daughter. I had no other option." In 2023, Maine reported 2,502 abortions, which is an average of about 7 abortions per day. There's a 12.5% increase from 2022 when 2,225 abortions were reported. So he believes that 2,000 babies, again, not babies, literally a grouping of cells, but okay, thinks that 2,000 babies are being sacrificed by Satanists. 7 sacrifices per day in his state. And look at what the AI Google results said. In Maine, abortion is legal throughout pregnancy, and there are no restrictions based on how far along the pregnancy is. Yes, there are. This is not true. Again, this is fueling extremism to the degree that we're about to watch. Viability is the line. I think it's 20 weeks. Anyway, we'll continue with his tweets in a second. Let's just listen to what he had to say here.
I'm here. My name is Stephen Regini. I am a resident of Maine, and I had the cops called on me. A SWAT team showed up, and I'm now engaged in a shootout. My state has been the #1 abortion and gay rights state in the entire country.
Now remember, he thinks that these are satanic sacrifices.
And I've been segregated against for my beliefs. Now they're trying to arrest me simply because I do not believe in gay rights and abortion, which is...
Really? They're trying to arrest you because you don't believe in gay rights and abortion? That's why? We'll see if we can get more info on his arrest in a minute.
The #1 state of Maine right now. That's what they do. They're an abortion mill. So I'm here. I'm in a shootout with the authorities who are protecting the rights of doctors to murder babies. And they are protecting the rights of children to be ripped out of the womb and killed.
This is not what happens. This came from Marjorie Taylor Greene, among other people. They make absolutely wild claims like they're ripped apart. No to all of that. It's literally a grouping of cells. That is it. It is just a grouping of cells. Do you know how many abortions make it past 10 weeks? Or historically have made it past 10 weeks? Almost none. It's like 93% are done before 10 weeks or something, when it is nearly microscopic, if not fully microscopic. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene says this a lot. It is very reminiscent of a man named Julius Streicher. He was one of, I think, 12 people killed in the Nuremberg trials after World War II, military tribunal. He was a propagandist for the Nazi Party. He owned a newspaper called Der Stürmer, and it was vile, just vile, disgusting shit. And he used to say things like, he would get up there on stage and he would make wild claims about people. He'd get up there and he would describe kosher slaughter practices in gory detail, for example. Like, slaughtering a cow is not, it's ugly, right? I mean, you're cutting into flesh and stuff, but we're human beings. Living cells must die for us to continue to live. So something's going to die. In non-kosher slaughterhouses, usually they have a bolt gun. They put it to the head and they pull the trigger and then they start cutting, the meat off or whatever. Again, this is like gory and vile to just talk about. Like, we don't need to talk about this, right? In kosher slaughterhouses, they cut the throat and hang it so that all of the blood drains out because they're not supposed to eat any blood. That's like in the Old Testament. That's the difference. It's super inhumane, absolutely. but he would go into gory, disgusting detail about it to try to make Jews out to be like really evil, bloodthirsty, disgusting people. He'd just like make shit up too. He'd say things like, when a male mammal mates with a female mammal, the DNA of the male stays in the female in perpetuity. So every child the female sires after that has the DNA of the first male. Just fake nonsense. And that justified classifying Aryans as non-Aryan if they had ever slept with, like, you know, a Jewish guy or whatever. Most importantly, he described abortion in gory detail because the far right was opposed to abortion also in Germany at the time. And the far left was, well, the left was in favor of abortion in the exact same way as here in the US today. Anyway, Julius Streicher pioneered these techniques of getting people whipped into a blood frenzy over complete nonsense. And that's why we have posters today like this one. Perceived wrongs have always been perceived wrongs have always been the excuse. Perceived wrongs have always been the excuse. So anyway, let's listen to this poor sucker, this fool who fell for it, get himself killed, and tell us why.
They are protecting the rights of children to be ripped out of the womb and killed. I'm here with my baby daughter, who they're also trying to take away, and
truthfully, it sounds like a good decision at this point, but I don't believe a word out of his mouth. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they worked together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, let's continue.
I assure you that I am not the aggressor here. They tried to arrest me. They tried to tase me. They're trying to make me a criminal. They are trying to get me in trouble. They are trying to take me to jail for a long time for getting in an argument with my wife.
Well, it sounds like you are the aggressor then, huh?
It was a simple argument. I've spoke with her since. I love my wife. I love my daughter.
Okay, I'll tell you what it sounds like to me. I've seen these situations before. It sounds like he got violent with his wife, or even just yelled at her and threatened her. He didn't even have to get violent. Grabbed the kid, bolted out the door, and the wife calls the cops, and they approach him and say, we're taking the kid back to your wife or something. And now he's pulled out the gun and says, wait, what was it he said at the beginning of this? Because I feel like he gave us a different reason why they were there in the beginning.
And I've been segregated against for my beliefs. Now they're trying to arrest me simply because I do not believe in gay rights and abortion.
Oh, weird. That's super strange because 45 seconds later, you give us a different reason why they're trying to arrest you. So which was it? Did you get violent with your wife, or do you just hate gay people?
In trouble. They are trying to take me to jail for a long time for getting in an argument with my wife, which was a simple argument. I've spoke with her since. I love my wife. I love my daughter. I'm so grateful for all God has blessed me with. I'm grateful for my farm. I'm grateful for everything.
Kiss it goodbye.
All my friends and people who love me. And I'm sorry this had to happen. I really am. But I'm backed into a corner with my political beliefs. I haven't been able to find a job in a...
Brother, it wasn't your political beliefs. Delusion.
Been able to find a job in a year. And my entire life has been just struggling for existence, fighting Democrats and trying to stand up for my country. Let me ask you, if you're a law enforcement officer, why do you support the COVID vaccines? Why do you support abortion? Why do you support what isn't morally right? How are you fighting for a state system that protects illegal immigrants and...
Again, delusion. None of this is real. He's asking for them to explain why they're defending this stuff. They aren't. I don't know about him, but the people that he listens to classify gay people as people that take advantage of children. I mean, he said it earlier, so he probably classifies them that way too.
Please explain this to me. Please explain to me why abortion is still legal in my state. Why are the babies dying?
Again, not babies. Literally microscopic. Oh yeah, and you know what else? Medically, miscarriages are classified as spontaneous abortions sometimes. So depending on the situation, a miscarriage can be classified as an abortion on the paperwork.
Dying. Why? Why is this illegal up till the time of conception?
It isn't. It has only ever, anywhere in the US, ever been legal up to viability, which is about 20 weeks. I think some like 93% of them happen before viability. I'm sorry, before 10 weeks. Could be wrong on that number, but I think that's what it is. Maybe it's 70 something percent. Anyway, a super high number of them happen long before it's beyond the microscopic stage. It's the point. The things that this guy was told are lies. Plain and simple. They're lies. He's literally dying for a lie right now. None of this shit is true. I don't need to defend it because it's fictitious. This is like really sad. Beyond 20 weeks, I believe that it's, or well, you know, under Roe v. Wade, I believe it's legal. You get a doctor to sign off saying that, like, you're going to die. Either you're going to die or the baby's going to die. Something like hydroencephalus, I believe, where the head is filled with water, there's no brain. That kind of situation, you can get an abortion past 20 weeks. But, like, that nuance completely out the window. The dude believes to the bottom of his heart that people are just, like, killing children willy-nilly for satanic sacrifice. Just because they want to. Delusion. And I'm sorry to say, this is my brother. I mean, he isn't actually my brother, but my brother thinks this way. Hydroencephaly is so rare, though. Yeah, it is. And that's why it's like less than 0.25% or something of people that ever got it done beyond that point. It's almost never. It is such an incredibly uncommon occurrence to get an abortion beyond like 20 weeks that it might as well not even have been written, and it's only for life of the mother or life of the child type of deal. That's it.
Is this legal up till the time of conception? That's why I'm fighting. I'm fighting for the babies, I'm fighting for the unborn, and I'm fighting for righteousness and Christianity to be restored in this country. Christ is Lord, God bless.
Wait, how does he think he's going to restore Jesus to the country by killing cops?
And I'm sorry to you, my parents. I love you, my parents. I love you, my wife. I love you, my daughter. I love you, all my beloved friends and business partners. And God bless you. I'm sorry it had to end this way.
It didn't. It did not have to end this way. You poor delusional fool. If he had just gotten help, if he had just turned off Newsmax for 20 minutes, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Honestly, I blame Republican congressmen for this man's death. They radicalized him. They lied to him. They twisted shit around until it was unrecognizable. And he ended up here, behind a gun, ready to take out police officers. Like, really. It's just... It's deeply sad. Perceived wrongs have always been the excuse. Just take a look at more of his tweets here. Had to do this. It was them or me. Sorry for my family, and God bless. Apparently, he was selling like Patriot weed seeds or something. Trump made seeds legal. Donald Trump seeds. They were weed seeds that you could plant. I guess he's probably making money by like buying a ton of weed, smoking it, and then selling the seeds in it for like a profit or whatever. Honestly sad. Truly the only brand that doesn't make us conservative stoners feel inferior. The only weed brand I will ever support. God bless this company. Well, I think that he runs the company. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. They tried taking my baby and I had to defend her. No. Once again, delusion. Like, I don't know the situation, but just from how he described it, it sounds like he got violent with his wife, grabbed the kid, and took off. The cops came to talk to him, to approach him, to handle the situation, and he pulled out a gun. I had to do this. They are enemies of my faith. They kill babies in the womb and my state up to late... I'm sorry. They kill babies in the womb in my state up to late term. No, they don't. Late term is third trimester, right? That is between 6 and 9 months. Nobody does that. Nobody has literally ever done that in the United States. It was legal for cases where the baby had hydroencephalus or some other, like the body formed without a venous system, without like a system of blood vessels in its body. Or like it was going to be born inside out, literally like organs on the outside, skin on the inside. That kind of shit. Which, by the way, is now illegal. You can't do that in those cases, FYI. Don't know if you were aware of that. It's a good job there, bud. I had to do this for the unborn babies. I had to do it because it's either them or me. God bless. To my loved ones, I'm sorry, but I must do what is right in my heart. If the police protect the abortion clinics up to late term, then they are enemies of my faith. I'm sorry for the man who got shot, but don't try to take people's daughter from them. This is insane. They tried to take my daughter from me. Sheriff wanted to feel her, quote unquote. You see what he's doing here? He's weaponizing his fear of people that take advantage of children and Satanists, believing that it's like 90% of Democrats. Anybody that opposes me is someone that takes advantage of children. If they weren't, then they wouldn't oppose me. You see how this line of thinking kind of gets you to where he ended up? Nobody said they wanted to feel her. It's like, it's disgusting that that would even pop in your head. They would not leave and sabotage me and still try to take my daughter. It's honestly such a shame. Any real man would never let the government take their daughter. The government wasn't taking your daughter. Okay, the cops were responding to a domestic dispute where you kidnapped a kid and were violent, pulled out a gun and were waving it around and shot somebody. What would you do if someone tried to take your daughter? What would you do? Would you let them take her, or would you fight with every ounce in you to keep her with her rightful father? What would you do? I'd cooperate with the police because they were bringing her back to the mom, and they have guns and tasers. I would litigate it. I would let it go through the court system. They weren't taking her to some facility. They were bringing her to the mom. That's it. Wasn't like you're never going to see her again. Oh my God, dude. If they did not try to take my newborn daughter, none of this would have happened. Dude pulled out a gun around a newborn. Remember me as someone who loves my country, loves the Bible, and loves my daughter. Remember me as a man who fought for the unborn babies with all my might. I will remember you as the poor sucker that was lied to and fell for it. Anyway, just like really, really sad stuff. Really sad stuff. Someone says in the comments here, I feel like someone was right in trying to take his daughter away from him. 18-year-old wife, he was 29. Holy Christ, bro. Anyone know how old this kid was? Well, he said newborn, so I'm assuming he exaggerates, obviously, terribly. I would guess probably up to 6 months old, maybe. Not old enough to crawl, because I would be worried that the kid would, like, be crawling around with, around the guns and stuff. Here you go. This is Nowcast Maine's total coverage this morning. This is WMTW News Channel 8.
We have new information about an officer-involved shooting in northern Maine.
Local residents of Portage, a town with a population of around 400, say they were traumatized by that incident that left one man dead. Jim Keithley reports tonight.
An armed standoff suspect who would end up dead posted this dramatic video to social media.
I'm here. My name is Stephen Regini. I am a resident of Maine, and I had the cops called on me. A SWAT team showed up, and I'm now engaged in a shootout.
It was,
Damn, the K-9 unit died. Police officer wounded, K-9 killed.
I'm gonna end up starting to cry. It was just pretty upsetting.
From Coffin's General Store in downtown Portage Lake, Tracy Wadsworth, a clerk, can see the apartment building at 20 Ranger Street, where a Maine State Police tactical team converged Monday. Police said it was in response to a domestic dispute, which led to an armed standoff involving 29-year-old Stephen Regini. Regini's 18-year-old.
It didn't have to be this way. It didn't have to be like this.
Regini's 18-year-old wife told police.
18-year-old wife, 29-year-old dude. And he's telling us how they're trying to, like, take advantage of children and stuff. Come on.
Her husband pushed her into a wall. The couple's 4-week-old baby was in the house.
4-week-old baby. 4-week-old baby. And he's getting violent with her.
With Regini during the standoff, which lasted several hours. Police say Regini shot Deputy Shane Campbell in the shoulder. Police K-9 Preacher was deployed to try to take the suspect into custody. But police say Regini shot the police dog in the chest. The dog later died. 2 officers returned fire, and Regini was killed. Tracy Wadsworth said she spoke with Regini's wife today.
She said that's not him. She said, he was having some sort of mental breakdown.
No, it was him. This is the problem with Trumpism. The problem is that the MAGA ideology have completely brainwashed everybody, and it's indistinguishable from mental illness now. My brother has schizophrenia, and the things that he's said to me, the things that he does, are indistinguishable from what I have heard the magapotamians saying and doing. They're identical. You can't tell the difference.
She talked talked to him throughout the day and had tried to get him to surrender, turn himself in, and he said he couldn't do it.
The wounded officer was treated and released from a hospital in Presque Isle. Police said the infant daughter was not hurt and returned to her mother. The Attorney General's office is investigating.
4-week-old baby. Takes 9 months for the bun to finish in the oven, if you will. So we're talking 10 months ago is when he got her pregnant, and she's 18 years old now. What are the chances that he got with her before she turned 18? Or even worse, what are the chances he got with her on her 18th birthday? That is a pretty clear sign that you're looking for a certain type of person, right? And this dude is over here telling us about people who take advantage of kids.
And will determine if the shooting was justified. I'm Jim Keithley for Maine's Total Coverage.
I mean, it seems pretty clear to me that the dude knew that he was in the wrong. I mean, just based on how the guy described the situation, it's clear to me that he was in the wrong. Just sad. Honestly sad. This is what happens when you are so deeply propagandized. Perceived wrongs have always been the excuse. Tell me what you think in the comments.